I want to let you all, each and every one of you, know that we appreciate you joining us here for this media event to open up the announcement for the Woodlawn Central development. This has been a long time coming, and I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Let me first thank all the ones who brought us to this place and brought us to this point of this announcement. This is not done just by me or my son Byron, but there are a host of others who participated in the development of the planning for the Woodlawn Plan, the 2060 Woodlawn Plan. From that time, which took place began 5 years ago, all the way until now, whether it be those who helped us do our planning from Skidmore, Owings and Merrill or Gensler, or did the economic study with AECOM, all the way through all of the quadrant leaders who were residents of Woodlawn and the entire One Woodlawn community. For 3 years, we had community meetings for every 90 days, and we never had less than 300 people in this room. And this is a community developed plan. It's not a developer developed plan. It's developed from the inside out. And we want to thank the entire Woodlawn community for trusting in the process. We asked them years ago, I said, trust us that we're able to develop a plan together. And they did. And that plan has been now well documented. That brings us to this time of announcement. I do want to thank Citibank and George Wright for investing in that planning for 3 years. Had it not been for them, we would have struggled through the process. But they were excellent partners. The stakeholders in Woodlawn have been excellent partners, from the university to POA to all of the sororities and fraternities that are part of this community, and I want to thank them. But I also want to thank the Apostolic Church of God Board and the Apostolic Church of God family for their support. Because without them, none of this would ever have taken place. So I do want to thank them for that. Moving forward, this is a plan that down through the years, as my father supported the development of Woodlawn going back to 1960, to the development of this church beginning in 1977 up until now. It is out of all of the planning that has taken place that when my son Byron got involved in the planning with his father, it was actually his creativity that brought us to this place. It was his creativity that brought us to the 2060 plan for each quadrant in Woodlawn to have a growth pattern, to have a growth opportunity. And then when the pandemic came and everything seemed to shut down, he said, why don't we begin the planning and catalyze the plan utilizing the church properties? I originally thought that it was something that, like, really? And I never thought about it. But as he began to unfold a vision that I believe was divinely given, I grabbed hold to what that was, the spirit of what was taking place in his life. And I said, let's look at it. Let's go down this road. And we began to present all the way through to the board, to the congregation. And now we're here with the community. And so I do want to now turn this over to my son, J. Byron Brazier, for you to hear the vision of the Apostolic Church of God, its members, and the vision that he has laid out for the Woodlawn community.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Brazier, First Lady Brazier, the Apostolic Church of God official board, your staff, and all of the members. I'd like to thank Vince Lane, who has been my development mentor Mother Josephine Wade, who really helped kick off a lot of the coverage on the Woodlawn process and development for 2060. Chris and Adam at Sherwood Design Engineers, Yao Lu, Jackie Koo of Koo Architects, and a special thanks to Deborah Oliver Farmer at Brown Farmer Media, who's been responsible for putting together our event, as well as the media that has been happening all week. Give a huge thanks to her and to all of the distinguished guests. Thank you for sharing this moment with us, this aspirational and inspirational moment. And we appreciate all of your support and all of your prayers. Just to kind of summarize in my own words, Woodlawn Central. Woodlawn Central is a high-level catalytic mixed-use development based on building a micro version of the network of Woodlawn, One Woodlawn 2060 plan for urban regeneration and social sustainability, specifically designed for the Black community through self-determination. This cultural campus development consists of what we've coined as the layers of culture, which reflect the 2060 plan for technology, agriculture, visual arts retail, and performing arts, which makes Woodlawn Central the introduction to a rare but specific model which says that the only way to develop the Black community is from the inside out. And even in the face of gentrification, displacement should never happen, and that the residents who are indigenous to the community should never be forced out. Woodlawn Central, in its most visceral form, is designed to support a diverse range of Black American businesses, creators, innovators, and residents with the opportunities to share with others both nationally and internationally their unique experiences and perspectives through craftsmanship, service, entertainment, and hospitality that you wouldn't find anywhere else in the world. This development has been supported and sponsored by Dr. Byron T. Brazier, the pastor of the Apostolic Church of God, the official board, and its members as a key component for true transformation for the Woodlawn community and Black America at large. This church and its leaders feel that there is no greater time than the present to use its influence and resources to support a wide range of emerging leaders to expand the representation of all of the intersectionalities within the Black diaspora. There is a clear understanding that in these modern times, Black Americans are in great need of safe spaces to live, work, create, celebrate, and grow while in the pursuit of happiness. And that is Woodlawn Central. So as we begin, when we started looking at Woodlawn Central, we wanted to make sure that there were some guiding principles. These guiding principles are to set a physical guideline distilled for the development aspirations and set the groundwork for the master plan. We wanted to create a new and physical discernible center for the neighborhood that complements the scale and proportionality of the existing streets and blocks. Provide housing and commercial use that target a full range of income groups and generations. Integrate Woodlawn Central into the surrounding urban fabric while ensuring church operations are unencumbered. While form should create and reinforce physical and visual connections to the church, transit, and important neighborhood landmarks and corridors. Site highest density development on blocks nearest to 63rd Street and the station. Provide green and recreational open spaces on intermediate floors and build to maximize residential amenities. Establish a hierarchy of mobility that promotes a balanced mix of transportation that prioritizes walking, biking, and micromobility and aids in wayfinding. We're going to screen parking structures and minimize their physical and visual impact onto the district so that it fits aesthetically into everything that's going on the campus. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the presentation very quickly, so I can give you kind of a walkthrough of all of the different elements of the campus. So overall, we are looking at an idea of a campus that's about living, working, shopping, learning, creating, producing, socializing, celebrating, and lodging. As you can see here, these are the opportunities that are surrounding this campus that you see in orange squares around the black border. Those are all of the lots that the church owns, and you can see that we're in close proximity to the YMCA, to Mount Carmel, the new Obama Presidential Center, the University of Chicago, and a direct line to the 63rd Street corridor. Here is all of the lots from A to I. It gives you an entire overview of the 8 parcels that we're looking at. I'm sorry, all of the parcels, which are 8 acres on approximately an 18-acre campus. This is the birth of an idea, or what we would call a napkin sketch. And here we're deciding how we want to just overall scope the massing of each of these individual sites, and how we could make sure that there was some continuity, not only with buildings, but with how the church sits in the centerpiece of the building. Here's the second rendition, which is about scaling and the vision. I apologize that you cannot see my cursor, but I'm going to use some color combinations so that way you can follow me. There's a light blue building. Just to the left of that light blue building, that's the northeast corner of 63rd and Dorchester. That is an innovation center, which will have a call center, a data center, office spaces for a digital technology space, which will focus on AI, AR, and VR, which is artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and virtual reality, both on the research and development side as well as education. To the right of that is a proposed hotel, which is the light blue, which sits on a parking podium that's 2 levels. Next to that is a residential 7-story that also sits on the same parking podium. That would be Site C. And in between those 2 buildings is our presentation or proposal to the Metro that they build out the Metro station to accommodate. There's lots of layers in that. Metro has not agreed to anything. These are just our concepts in how we make sure that there's true circulation with the entire campus, especially this being a transit-oriented development. Below on that ground level will be retail. We're looking at market, cafes. So it's bringing the food aspect, the convenience aspect to all of the cultural pieces. We're going to keep going to the right and down 64th Street, and we'll be going west. The black box with the gray open area, that is a microgrid that sits about 13,000+ square feet. Next to that is a black box theater, which will have 200 seats. And it also have 2 shoebox theaters with about 20 seats, which is also connected to residential. Each one of our cultural aspects has residential anchored to it as a way of being able to give the overall compelling reason why culture can be created with the commerce. And that those lofts or those units will then give a strong economic process to the building process of those buildings. Across the street from that, you'll see like the little greenhouse on top. That is our vertical farming, which is about 530,000 cubic feet, and will also have affordable residential attached to that. Across with the gray area, the gray box with the greenhouses on top, that's a 9-level parking facility, which will give us all of the parking, replace all of the parking that's been taken from the other parking lots, and also give parking to visitors throughout the week. This parking lot particularly will be reserved for the church on Wednesdays and Sundays. Across from that, going north to the smaller building, that is a senior housing. specifically, which will also have commercial at the bottom. Everything is mixed use. And across from that, you'll see there's 4 buildings. There's 2 high rises, one to the left and one to the right. And then in front of that, that's also live work, which will also have all of the residential components. Now, this particular site is very special because we wanted to make sure that in the process of creating culture, that we cemented Black American culture within the fabric of the campus. And so these stairs that sit right in between and also give a ascending mobility level is what we're considering the legacy steps. And these legacy steps will have on the risers, they'll have the names of all of the historic Black American figures who have made huge impacts in our country. And we want to remember them in a way and also cement our culture within what we are considering the Black American experience. Underneath and in between these 4 buildings is a promenade, which will also have retail. So we're doing street front commercial as well as interior commercial. We wanted to do that to make sure that we looked at some of the safety aspects and mobility aspects that give people the opportunity to just kind of lounge in the center of these pieces. And then also on the top of the steps, we are calling Legacy Plaza. This is the renderings that you all have you've been looking at so far, but I've kind of given you the idea of where these things were going as far as the architectural programs and how they fit into the campus and what that looks like. So I've talked about technology, I've talked about agriculture, I've talked about performing arts and visual arts and retail. There'll be a series of galleries, there'll be a series of opportunities that people will be able to share on a creative level. And what this does is the density creates sustainability so that each of anybody from the community or people coming into the community will have an opportunity to have synergy within each other that will then create the critical mass, which then gives them low overhead and high revenue. At this site, you can see the legacy stairs to the far left and the mid-rise live work and the storefront on 63rd. This is 63rd and Dorchester. Right here on the corner, this is the square box here. That is a water feature sculpture that is created for an aesthetic reason, but also an environmental reason. Underneath that square is water. It's a rainwater storage. And we've put in design to make sure that it works seamlessly with this sculpture piece. And where you see the flowers and the grass and the bridge that goes across, that rainwater storage will then go around the campus on the church site to also hit our sustainability and environmental sustainability initiatives. Here's a view of the Legacy Plaza, where you can see the steeple of the church, you can see the residential, you can see the hotel peeking through. And this is really an opportunity to just congregate and relax and have that experience that you would have, you know, downtown or really on any other side of the city. This is our opportunity to show the rest of the world that our communities are not what has always been thought of as the ghetto or the hood. This is our opportunity to show our culture and to show how we serve our own community and serve the rest of the world. We do it now, but I think that we can elevate it and even more in something as far as a design like this. There's also going to be some other technology pieces. We want to integrate as much technology into the campus as possible. So you can see James Baldwin and you can see Martin Luther King at the top right. That's a TV screen that will show different advertisements, different points of history. We're going to use as much opportunity to use technology for humanity, as well as opposed to using humanity for technology. These are our opportunities to share and to educate our visitors and our residents. This is the promenade space. in that light blue lighting across, that's the Legacy Plaza right up there that you can see up at. There's going to be 2 levels of these commercial opportunities. So there could be a combination of dining, there could be a combination of retail. There's a lot of interest, even just been talking about it lately. People have been kind of, say, hey, I want one of those spaces. So we are looking at that. It's a really long stretch. But we also thought about the 4 seasons of Chicago. And so if you can probably, maybe if you squint your eyes a little bit, there's some perforated white lines and some dots on the ground that they're standing on. Those are heated tiles. So that way, when it snows and it's cold, the heat from the tiles will rise up, so that promenade space stays warm, even in some of the colder days that people are going to be out shopping for Christmas or dining out for Christmas or whatever the case. Nobody's going to dine in the snow, but this will certainly give a good walkway for those who are coming in and out of the promenade space. Here is the Sky Garden, and the Sky Garden is on the high rise. And from this particular view, you can see the lake, you can see the skyline, you'll be able to see the Obama Center. This is just an amazing amenity that I think that we should have, that you would find downtown or any other city. And behind the cabanas, there is a gym. So there's a set of amenities that will be on that particular floor. Again, conceptually thinking, we'll have to figure out what all of those amenities are, but you can probably guarantee that there'll be a laundromat, there'll be a cleaners, there'll be other aspects that make this space a very convenient space and a very comfortable space to live. This is the view looking east of the Black Box Theater and the urban farming on the urban vertical farming on the left. In the foreground, 64th Street, looking east on 64th Street. On the foreground to the right, you'll see this is First Presbyterian, and then to the left, it's an existing building. So we wanted to make sure that as we were conceptualizing about the process and doing new design, that the new design integrated into the already existing fabric of the community. And so there's different lighting aspects, there's different video and technology aspects that can be used in these spaces for wayfinding, for all sorts of things. And we think that would be a good direction. Also on the roof of the Black Box Theater, you'll see the V-shaped at the top, and inside that, just behind that space, will be a green space for those who are living in the residential side of that. So they also have an outdoor opportunity throughout the architecture, as well as being able to access the theater. And finally, on our final rendering, this is just the east view. You can see the Obama Center on the left. You can see the high rises and the stairs, so the Legacy stairs and Promenade, the technology, the hotel, the residential, and the parking podiums. Again, these are all concepts. The designs will change, the massing may change, but the idea certainly stays the same. The idea of making sure that there's culture and commerce, that work succinctly together, and that the community benefits from this as a catalyst. There's a lot of great opportunities, again, for affordable housing, for the job market that the current community is going to have first access to. We're going to make sure that happens, being that we are in the community and from the community. The community is our first and major priority. And so the overall development area is 1.1 to 1.2 million square feet. And those in the industry, it's about a 3.25 to a 3.6 FAR. The residential which will have workforce housing, market rate, luxury senior housing, and theater lofts, is on the conservative side between 675 dwelling units to about 870 dwelling units. The commercial square footage is about 214,000 gross square feet, again with the hotel of 154 rooms. A transit-oriented stop that gives a waiting area, ticketing, and vertical circulation is between 10,000 and 15,000 gross square feet. The Black Box Theater is 21.5 thousand gross square feet, and that's 2 theaters with the back of the house and front of the house. The microgrid is 13,000 square feet, and the green vertical farming, again, is 530 cubic feet. Parking is the same, assuming that we have 1 space per residential unit. So that gives us either between 675 or 870. The office spaces will have 2.5 spaces per 1,000 square feet. The hotel will have 50 parking spaces, 1 space per 3 rooms. And the off-street parking will vary, but we'll also have opportunity to use the multi-level parking, especially when we're talking about the live performances, to use that at any other given time except for Sunday mornings. And then the church parking, the 9-level parking will give us 810 parking spaces that would consolidate for that. And finally, just to kind of give you an idea of our next steps, Woodlawn Central Design Team Assembly is one of our next steps. We will do a presentation and continue to engage stakeholders and the design team. The church community development committee, land use council, additional concept level drawings and diagrams. We'll be doing a land and utility survey, demolition drawing and or specifications, planning approvals and other public approvals, environmental review and other approvals for environmental uses, market projection analysis, a mobility analysis, a field investigation for determining the soil and the conditions of the utilities, interior design, architectural design, structural and civil engineering, public and private art and or exhibition design, and physical models. And last but not least, our website is live and ready to go. And that website is woodlawncentral.com. And there you'll find all of the renderings, you'll find all of the detailed and site plan on what Woodlawn Central is about. And with that said, I thank you for your time and I open up for questions. Thank you.
This is magnificent. And I just want to say your grandfather would be so proud of you. I don't know if he could stay in this room. One question. The theater, is it to be a profitable theater, or is it just a theater, not for profit?
Well, we hope
200 seats.
Well, we hope that the theater will have some level of profit for self-sustainability, that whatever is generating will then generate all of the programs that happen within it. But it's really truly designed for local entertainment. For all of the local artists who are out and about who need performing mileage, we want this to be a space, and I think that's really important when supporting emerging artists, is that they actually get some of those mileage to feel what it feels like to be on stage. And so that's kind of what we're doing. We're also going to kind of manage some of the bigger guest artists, and so we'll have different things. But the cool thing about the theater is that it'll have hide seating, which is a technology out of Italy where we can put the seats into the floor and have a standing room only. It could be a runway show. It could be a lot of different things. So we want the building to be multi-purpose for those economic opportunities.
What's the timeline?
The timeline for the entire project, we want to break ground in 2023. And we are using modular architecture technology. So that will speed up the overall building process by about 30 to 35%. And hopefully, all things going smoothly and going well, we could have at least 85 to 90% of this done by 2026 on the aggressive.
Hi, Wendell Hudson, Chicago Business Journal. The hotel, what hotel will anchor the development?
Hi, Wendell. When we talked earlier, I said that I would release the information. I've been asked to hold off.
When do you expect to make that known? Because you say you have a hotel already confirmed.
Within the next 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the price tag, $300 million?
Between 300 and 600 million.
And how is that going to be financed?
We've had several invitations to talk about financing. And so we are really just weighing out our options. This is I can say that this is more than just an aspirational opportunity or aspirational development. This will happen. We have several people who have shown a lot of interest in making sure that this does happen.
And then last, as far as I know you mentioned you hope to start construction in 2023. Yeah. Are you able to be a little bit more specific? Is it going to be first quarter, second quarter?
I can't be specific right now. We still are working with the Department of Planning and making sure that all of our ordinances are followed, all of our permits and zoning, gets completed. 2023 is the target. Sometimes that target will change, just depending upon what the details are. And I think since we're a pretty diligent team, so I think with a year of making sure that we can get all of the things that we need done as far as zoning and planning, that we can do that in 2022. And 2023, we should be able to break ground. And what we're looking at, we call 63rd in Dorchester, those four corners, the living room. And so we believe that that's the best place to start. And then we'll work our way around it.
Do you expect, once the project is up and running, you say by 2026, you hope to have it completed?
Yeah, about, 85 to 90%. We'd like to have it at that point.
Are you expecting the traffic flow, or I guess the foot traffic that the Obama Center is going to bring to this immediate area, that would also benefit the project where people need somewhere to park? People would like to have a hotel they can stay in. There's no hotel in this immediate area.
Right.
So this will probably be the first hotel, not only in Woodlawn, but probably in this immediate area on the south side. A hotel, not a motel, which certainly is a difference.
Yeah. We hope that there is a lot of synergy with the Obama Center. We believe that there's already a synergy there just with the overall conceptualizing of what 63rd and Dorchester can be. And it made sense to have a hotel. We didn't plan for anyone else's land. So we wanted to make sure that if nobody else wanted to do anything, that there was an opportunity for all of those different aspects to happen.
Brother Brazier?
Yes, sir.
Are you a minister too?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say what your father will not say, but I think needs to be said. And let me tell you why I say that. Because I'm a father who 39 years ago built a building where people come to pray. We call it the Prayer Palace. A few years ago, my son built a building where people go to stay, where they go to live. Because I taught them that the real success of a man is not in really what he does, but in what he inspires his children and others to do. And I'm going to say that your father is the proudest man in the United States of America because of you doing what you are doing. And for the betterment of our people and for the entire community and the world. So I'm just going to suggest that all of us stand up and give you what you deserve, a great round of applause. And you need to know that we appreciate you and you have inspired us, inspired others. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks. This is really bold and exciting, and I'm really thrilled. I'm wondering, like, and if you said this in your presentation and I overlooked it, my apologies. What do you think the sequence of development is going to be like, the phasing? How's that going to run, do you think?
Well, I can't be exact on what that is, but I think that the overall living room area, which is 63rd and Dorchester, would traditionally go first because I think it creates the highest opportunity for investment and revenue in Black business infrastructure, along with cultural competency training. So I believe that that will be where we start and we go southeast around this way. So we have to make sure that there's parking. We have to make sure that all of these things are done so that the church is unencumbered and our neighbors are unencumbered at the same time. I've got a lot of questions from the community that says, well, you know, are you going to kick us out of the community with all the noise? And so I tried to explain to him that that's one of the things about using modular technology, that it erases a lot of that dense noise. So just kind of give you an idea that the modular architecture in some cases already come created. Bathrooms, kitchens, tiles, carpeting is already in, and it's just a stackable. So that's why it's like 30-40% faster. So we'll try to make sure that I want to get this done as quickly as possible because I believe that as a catalyst shouldn't take 10 years. You know, a catalyst should take 5 years because there's so much more of the community that deserves this level of attention.
And one of the other things, Bill, is the infrastructure of the power grid may go in order to support all the other things that are coming up. And so there are a number of different phasings, as you would know, that would come up. But we are looking to make sure that it is one planned development, and everybody will be informed. And it's really about, you know, traffic and bus rerouting and all the other things that dictate that, and that's still in the planning. Tony?
Question. My question is, what noise? Because the first thing, and those of you who don't know me, we're part of the technical component and the clean energy component. And one of the things that you've heard is this concept called a microgrid. And so what that is, and one of the points Byron brought up was the noise of the microgrid. Well, due to its modularity and its inherent operation of the technology, there is no decibel of sound whatsoever. It's totally quiet. So even back to this point of the noise, I don't know if there's going to be any noise other than the children, you know, hollering for joy, or the youth, you know, hollering at the theater, other than the nature of the development itself. The nature of this technology, and architect Ms. Koo, you know, the nature of design and the way spaces are done here, I could see noise reduction at 0 decibels in most cases, other than the bus. But this context of what you're doing, as you add market rate, you want to talk to that a little bit? How do you integrate market rate into the contextual design that you have presently?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking it. The multi-income community sets up true ecology. So in order to, one of the things that's happened in history, especially early in the 90s when you had crack cocaine filtered throughout Black communities, all of the market rate, let's say, executives who lived in the Black community moved out of the Black community because there was disinvestment and there was disenfranchisement. And so when you re-emerge the investment back into the community, you have to have the multi levels of luxury, market rate, and affordable, and how they live and work together is what we see in all around us. So we want to take and reflect that same process that's happening in these multi-incomes and place them as a catalyst within this particular development. And so luxury sometimes is not always at a cost. Sometimes luxury means a service. So if we're operating in a luxury service, that means everybody actually gets to experience the luxury service as well, and still being able to participate within the entire commercial process of the campus and the community. And we also want to look at a specific model that looks at workforce housing. That means that if you live in one of the buildings, or if you live in the building and you work on the campus, that we can supply some subsidies for your rent and utilities and goods and services. We want to make sure that there's some opportunity for that. So we're certainly going to kind of beta that process of what workforce housing looks like.
Hello, Maxwell Evans with Block Club Chicago. I have a few questions. The first one, you had gotten into the idea of modular architecture and trying to make this as quick as possible. Can you speak a little to how you'd ensure that the quality of the materials and the quality of the construction is maintained as you do that?
Yeah, a lot of people think that modular or prefab is cheap. And when you're looking at a lot of the different areas, especially in New York, they do that very much, and they do it at a high level. And the quality of the millwork or the quality of the finishes happen in the factory. So if we're doing market rate and we want to put something like a Casina kitchen in there, we would do that at the manufacturer. And then if we're doing our market rate, then we'd use something of a less greater quality, but it would still have quality. So there's going to be different levels of quality. We're not, connecting trailer homes together and cladding them together. This is actual technology. It's called Full Stack. We're looking at Full Stack out of Brooklyn, New York, and you can check out their website, and they do a really great informational on how their technology works.
And you had also mentioned, I know you said the discussions with Metro are still ongoing, but do you have any other details about their willingness or what they've said about participating with this plan?
We've had no discussions with Metro at this point.
Okay.
This is a conceptual for the community. And as we will have and host and re-host multiple One Woodlawn meetings again every quarter. We'll begin that in the month of February. And then we'll have these ongoing discussions with the Department of Planning, with the state of Illinois, with Metro, and all other municipal partners, as well as stakeholders within Woodlawn.
All right, and then last thing, you had mentioned the community's involvement in developing these plans, and could you just share some more specifics as to how, once it is built, community members will be, the sort of protections that are in place to make sure community members can benefit from this project?
Yeah, we're going to make sure that we follow all of the ordinances that the city has laid out for affordable housing and benefits and all of those things. One of the initiatives within the investment is to have a Black business infrastructure investment. That means that we're looking at established and emerging Black businesses who kind of live in an ethos amongst other businesses, to be able to give them the context and to give them the business frame and investment that it would take. So that way we're farming our own commercial aspects. So we're not building this and looking for other businesses to come in to anchor this. And part of this investment is to have local businesses or local entrepreneurs the opportunity to build that. We're also going to be looking nationally for other businesses to come here and maybe even franchise here. There's a whole strategy in this, but when you're looking at the national business ownership, Black businesses only sit at 3.5. And that's behind Asians, who are at 7%. That's behind Latinos at 9%, and that's especially behind whites at 82%. So in this infrastructure, we want to make sure that we're setting a precedent to take that from 3.5 to 20%, because I think that we should have that visibility with all of the contributions that we do give. We can't just be consumers, we have to be creators. So I hope that this will be a precedent in that, in using the ordinances for the community benefit, that this will be a precedent for a national movement for Black business infrastructure.
And explain there's a benefit in the vertical farming, there's a benefit in the arts from the community standpoint. It's not just the retail. We will add inventory of affordable housing to this community, as well as be a place of destination for the businesses that are here.
I'm sorry, could you just remind me of the number of affordable housing units as well?
But what Byron gave a range of 600 to 800, and we will meet the Woodlawn ordinance specifications for affordability.
Hi, I'm Carol Adams from South Shore Works, your neighbors to the immediate south, and we are inspired by the intentionality of this development and the fact that it is indeed inside out, that the people from the community have spent a long time. I think sometimes people think these ideas just pop out of thin air, but there have been years of planning associated with this. I've been to some of your network of Woodlawn and One Woodlawn meetings, and I think you are presenting a model, an example for communities not just here but throughout the country to do this level and quality of development, and we really thank you for that.
Thank you. Well, we certainly thank everyone for coming out and for supporting us and getting all the information, and we plan to make sure that we stay connected throughout the entire year of 2022 coming up, and because we're going to have more announcements about our design team, we're going to have more announcements about our funding, we're going to have so many more things happening. So thank you for coming off to this kickoff. Make sure that you check out our website at woodlawncentral.com, and have a wonderful day.